Wow, that would have been classic TV right there. Izar jumps into his chair, following a countdown, with the Muppet Show theme playing during his entry. All right, so here's the question of the day. So, if you were one of the Muppets, which one would you be? That's it's something you got to really ponder there. So
I don't know. Would you want to be Beaker or the Professor?
I was thinking the Swedish Chef.
I'll have to go with Waldorf.
Oh, is that one of the guys that's up in the top?
Yes.
Yeah. Every time I go to Walt Disney World, which has been often the last number of years, they have this Muppet Show, 3D adventure show. One, it's air conditioned, so it's always a good stop. It's a good place for 20 minutes of air conditioning. But I don't know why. I love the Muppets, especially in 3D, because then they have Waldorf and the other guy sitting up in the top, like as animatronics, and they're making comments during the performance. It's just like, yep. Like,
And so
best
you're both Waldorf and the other guy.
And the other guy is my alter ego. But their best quote is from the opening song. Why do we always come here? I guess we'll never know. It's just some kind of torture to have to watch this show. Which actually brings us to what we were talking about today.
that might resonate with some of our audience, actually. like why are we here? Why did I download this? I guess the internet's basically free. The bits that you download are basically free. So, it's not.
That's what you get for listening to us in the gym.
Yeah.
And the southern coast of Australia, or maybe the northern coast. I can't remember where our fans are there. But all right, we should actually talk about something serious. So, Matt, you eloquently titled the episode, and now I've forgotten what you said.
The lightning round of how security professionals gather, or something to that effect.
No, the first time it was a much more eloquent description of.
It's Monday. I lost it.
Much better collection of words, but so various Muppet noises are being attempted.
Oh, that's it. You're the aliens from Street. That's Sesame Street. That's not
a totally different show. Come on, not even in the same universe. I don't think. Or maybe it's in the same universe. Who knows? Okay. Kermit has.
For those listening
arrived.
to us at the gym, listening to us but not watching us, go watch us.
Yeah, Kermit has entered the chat room. And now he's running across. All right, so in general, we're talking about how security professionals gather. Are there too many opportunities for gathering? Is the return on investment for gathering still vibrant?
Still vibrant or still viable?
I don't know. Viable. We'll go with viable. I like that better.
Viably vibrant.
So, yeah, and I guess to level set this conversation, right? Just for our audience members, there's different types of gatherings that we can talk about, right? There's standards bodies, there's professional organizations and conferences, and then there's stuff that's sort of in between, right? And it's an interesting question, actually, Chris, that you're raising. Is first off, is there enough? And or is there too much of one or the other? One where security professionals can come together and exchange ideas or talk about stuff or learn or whatever they want to do. Is it overload? And is it still valuable? Both as a professional as well as maybe an organization that's sending these professionals places, if anyone's sending people places.
Oh, people are sending, definitely. There's a lot of people from a lot of different places at the conferences that I attend. So it seems like people are back now, being sent out as a reward, which I always thought was kind of odd. Like that was a reward somehow. That you got sent to a city, maybe with not enough sunshine. You got sent to that city, and that was your reward for being a great employee. Was that you get to travel to Fort Lauderdale for
when they
4
go
days.
to listen to one of us, clearly it's an award.
That's true.
Other people, I don't know, but
that's true.
The three of us definitely.
That's true.
The thing that I've been thinking about is after everybody got so used to watching things on webinars and things like that, I can only speak for myself. I'm exhausted. I can't watch webinars anymore. Like sometimes there's an interesting webinar, and I do prefer when they hand out the PDF. You can download the PDF with the slides rather than watching the whole thing. I don't know why. I mean, it's always fun to participate in one. I'm not going to diminish that, but it's so rare for me nowadays to be able to sit down and watch 1 hour of something.
But it's also because I think what you're highlighting is, what is a conference for? Or what is a professional engagement interaction for? Is it for learning? Is it for influencing? Or is it for networking?
Conference, what is it good for?
So, I mean, I've had a similar experience to what Izar just described. I find myself not going to talks a lot at conferences, but I will go back and watch them on YouTube after. But I've developed this really bad habit. I grab the little slider, I start scrolling across, and I just look at the slide. I kind of process the slide. Okay, makes sense. I don't listen. I just basically watch the talk in 2 or 3 minutes as I scroll. Now, sometimes I'll hit a slide and I'll be like, oh, that's interesting. And then I'll let it play for a while.
You could put the talk on 2x or 4x playback speed and take care of it that way.
Yeah, but that still would take me 15 minutes.
You can ask the freaking
to 30.
AI to summarize the talk. I think that on
I don't trust
Misler's Fabric, he has one recipe in there where you can actually ask it to watch to read the transcript of the talk, and then grade the speaker in terms of, I think it was self-promotion, depth, or something else. It's really interesting. So
you're both highlighting the purpose of the talks. Then they're educational. You want to learn something from it. It's a lecture. It's not necessarily as interactive, and especially if you're not there, obviously you can't ask questions or anything. But is that really the best use of your time? Right? Education is important. Yes, we should all be learning still. But when it comes to conferences, right? So summer's coming up, Hacker Summer Campus, people like to call it. We have B-Sides, Black Hat, DEF CON, OWASP, OpenSSF just had a conference, Pancakes Con, a host of others that are happening or have happened. You get the same talks at each successive conference.
Well, but that's because you have a lot of speakers who, it's a seasonal thing. They get one talk and they just go with it like across the year, right? I myself, I had some years that I had 2 or 3 conferences, and I personally prided myself to not use the same thing, even though I was talking about the same subject, just because I didn't want to go into YouTube later on and see myself in 3 different things talking about the same thing with the same slides. But I think that at some point we have to turn the table and say, okay, what's in it for the speaker, right? So yeah, you have all this work of developing the slides, developing the talk, getting over what we already discussed, imposter syndrome, getting over public speaking anxiety, and so on and so forth. But what do you get? What do you really get? I
get
have
notoriety.
You get notoriety.
That's true. And
if you're new, that may be more important than somebody like yourself, right? Who's been out there for the past couple of years. People know who you are, right? By name, they know who Izar is.
Waldorf.
But somebody who's starting out new, and actually So let me flip the question there for both of you, since you're both, basically you said you're bored when you go listen to these things.
I didn't say, hold on.
No, wait, it's not bored. It's not bored. First of all, there's a lot of stuff happening in my wide screen, and a lot of it demands my attention. It's really hard for me to focus 1 hour on one thing. So it's not bored.
I wouldn't say I'm bored. I would say I'm searching for new ideas, new things that I've not seen before. And a lot of times when you go through a talk, 75% of it is things that you just are part of the lore of AppSec, things we all just agree on. So I'm looking for things that are new and that are challenging me. And those are the parts that I stop and let it play for a while, because I'm like, oh, okay, this is something I don't know. I'm trying to learn from it, but I also don't want to kind of relearn things I think I already know.
Do you think that? Oh, go ahead. Are you first?
No, that's actually a good point, because briefly, I've been going to talks lately and watching talks more to learn about how the speaker delivers the talk than the actual content. I mean, if the content is interesting, usually I'll reach out to the speaker and talk more about it on a different venue. We have lots of stuff that we can use for that. But lately, it's been a meta thing for me. I remember that in Dublin, watching Chris deliver his top 10 DevSecOps fails or something like that, I wasn't even remotely interested in the content, but the way that he was delivering, that was the thing for me. Or later on, I watched keynote talking about ice cream, and I'm like, okay, this thing begins with something that's completely devoid of any connection to whatever it is that the thing is about, but then it converges and it all makes sense. So that's changing the way that I deliver my talks, right?
But now you're in a different group than you're in the 1%. I hate to call us the 1%ers, but the people that speak at conferences, though, are like 1% of the population of people that are coming to the event. And so we kind of got to flip the table around and start thinking about this from the folks that are newer to our industry, that are coming to these events, right? Like, we go to these events to see friends, to connect, to hang out, to challenge each other, have deep technical conversations, things like that. But that's because we've all been in the industry for 20 plus years at this point, and we have a network of people. I mean, one of the best things is going to a conference and getting to spend an hour with Brooke Schoenfeld.
Yeah,
priceless, right? Because he just challenges you, and he is just so gracious, but that's part of the conference experience. Like, I don't go to a room to listen to somebody talk. I can't get that experience. Right. And so, but I think I'm kind of thinking about this more from my own perspective versus a lot of people that are going to these events are not speaking. Maybe they're newer to our industry. Maybe they're more introverted, so they're not as connected to the community. And that's one of the things that I really try to do at events. Like, if I go to one of the mixers or something, like, I always scan the room to see who's on the outside of the room, who's kind of like, I'm here because they had a free taco bar, but I really don't know anybody and I don't really want to talk. And I search out those people, because I'm like, in that type of a setting, I can talk to you guys. I'm going to see you guys at the event in other places. I'm not going to go huddle up with you guys in that type of event. I'm going to be like, okay, I'm going to go find some people here and just draw them into the event and make them feel like they're part of the conference.
That's why I like that's why I liked PancakeCon as a concept, right? The notion there is that when you're a speaker, you have two parts to your presentation. You have the technical thing you're talking about, and then you're talking about something else, probably pancake related, maple syrup and that sort of thing, but not necessarily. So something of interest and something that you find interesting. And, and that way you have a natural icebreaker for the presenter to the audience. But it's still a lecture. It's still a presenter to the audience, right? Not an interaction.
I don't know if you guys ever went. Did you guys ever go to one of the Source conferences they used to have in Boston?
I spoke at
this was our first Source.
Actually, yeah, Izar and I spoke at Source back in
2011.
Do you remember?
No, 2011. You're right. Yeah, I spoke before that with somebody else, but
the speed networking that they would do at that was brilliant. And
wait. Tell me more about that.
So what would happen with speed networking is you'd have everybody. There was a segment of the conference. Everybody's in the big room. And I don't remember how he split people up, but basically the idea was you would basically just walk around and talk to different people for like 2 minutes or something. And he gave you a question that to kind of start the conversation, like what's something you like to do away from work.
This was Rob Sheen. Rob Sheen did this, right?
Yes, Rob. Yeah. And so, but it was brilliant because what I found is you end up talking to 10 or 15 people in that segment, and then you see them the whole rest of the conference because it was only like a 400 or 500 person conference. And so then the following 2 days, you're in the hallway like, hey, what's up? How's it going? You know, like it just broke down. It broke the ice with a number of people. And so I thought that was brilliant. And his is the only event I ever saw, the Source Conference, the only event I ever saw anybody try to do that.
So I think that I mentioned before, this time in Lisbon at the OWASP, we are trying something similar with the Meet the Mentor thing. And we got something like, I think, 16 mentor volunteers and 26 or 25 mentee interests. And we're just going to put all of them in the room and try to like speed date everybody and see what happens. But that's the reason behind this whole thing is what can we give as added value to people coming physically to a conference, right?
Mm-hmm.
And again, if you think from the side of the speaker, apart from the glory and the money,
wait, there's speaker money? Wait, there's money?
Wait, there's glory?
Well, actually, there is value. You get a free pass to the conference. Usually.
True. That's true.
That could be worth a lot.
But at the end of the day, what you get, and even probably not in most conferences, but in some conferences, what you get is some kind of feedback, right? And what I've been seeing, and I hope that I am totally wrong, but this is completely anecdotal and whatnot. You get 50 people in the room to listen to your talk. You get 25 surveys of feedback. From the answers, you can see that at least 12 people from those 25 got into the room by mistake. The other 13 got in that room because they think that they know the subject better than you, and they are really, really, really wanting to point out that you are completely wrong in everything that you said after good morning. The problem is that the same 13 people, when you say any questions, will go crickets. There's no engagement, right? So something is broken in the way that we participate in talks as well. And
because we don't have an IRC or Slack channel running during the talk for those people who want to engage but don't want to be physically engaged.
So we are a bunch of introverts. That's a good one.
I've seen that happen once where I was speaking. It was an ISC Squared's conference, and they've gone to a hybrid in person, but there's an online component as well for people that can't travel. And so there is like a chat room kind of setting, and there are questions that will come out from that where people, maybe some people are they'd rather not stand in front of the microphone. I don't know about you guys.
DEF CON did that with a Discord channel. They had a Discord channel for a lot of like AppSec Village would do that.
So you can throw your questions in and have a conversation there. So maybe we need a new paradigm in talks here.
You know what? You just gave me an idea. Saturday, I'll be holding the microphone for Adam's session on ThreatModCon. I'm going to create a parallel channel and let people ask through it. And hopefully something even anonymous. What could I use for that?
SurveyMonkey or something like that.
No, it needs to be something real time.
That's a little bit harder. You need instant registration.
Yeah, I'll have to think about that one. But it would be great to have one like that, like in my pocket. If nobody raises their hand, which I don't think is going to be the case. But if needed, to have something that I can pull from my pocket and just say, oh, we have a question in live channel. Whoa.
Yeah. But so, I mean, Chris is raising a really good point, that again, it goes back to that question of why are you there? Are you there for the interaction? Are you there for the learning? Are you there for the influencing? And if you're an introvert, as many of us are, even those of us who have worked for a long time to overcome that introversion. And by the way, going to conferences is one way to help with that, either speaking or being part of the audience and actually raising your hand when it's time for questions. But maybe we've done this to death. Maybe we need a more interactive format. So something like where the presenter is more of a moderator and discussion leader for a collection of folks, either in-house or and or online, right? And that way, and whether it's online, virtual, or on VR, or you're online just on chat, but that way you have alternative ways to interact, and that way people can feel part of a conversation, and maybe the conversation gets out of hand a little bit, but that's okay, right?
Yeah,
because you're there to present, but also to learn from others.
RSA does what they call birds of a feather or tabletop types of environments that are in that format, where there's a particular topic, there's a moderator, but they specifically tell you in advance, your job as moderator, you're not here to give a talk. You're here to facilitate conversation amongst the people in the room. And some of those, like the best birds of a feather sessions like that, are where you as the moderator say something to start, and then you can't get a word in edgewise the rest of the time, which those are the best ones, right? Because then it's people learning from each other's experiences, and it's a different experience than listening to a lecture. Maybe we need a hybrid. Maybe we need somebody to come in and present on a topic for 20 minutes and then facilitate a discussion amongst the rest of the people in the room
or even come with a plan, a sort of not a lecture plan, or a talking plan, but some sort of structured, I don't want to say presentation, but something where that person is a subject matter expert in the concept, in the whatever the topic is, and maybe there is a separate moderator to moderate the interaction, but it becomes a part Q&A, a part lecture, and a part discussion, and that way you have the subject matter expert who can. I wouldn't structure it as a 20-minute lecture and then discussion. Have it be define topic, maybe talk and answer questions, or talk and ask questions, or talk and then have a discussion, and then repeat over the course of whatever the time frame is. So it's something where it becomes more active, but people can feel a part of the process.
So on the part of the process thing, I learned a new format from Dustin Lehrer, what he calls a white paper presentation, where it's birds of a feather, but everybody knows that at the end, everything that you said goes into a document and becomes a white paper on that subject. So people can edit the paper after the session until everybody decides, yeah, we got a paper here, so let's close and publish.
Interesting.
That's a neat idea. Yeah, that's pretty
cool. And we're going to be trying it at the Developer Day later this year. That's going to be fun, I think. I hope.
And this is the OWASP San Francisco global event that Izar's working with OWASP to do a Developer Day the day before the main conference runs, just to start putting a plug out there for this event. And the idea, Izar, is to invite all the developers right, to come to this.
To invite developers and security champions to come and tell us what we're doing wrong. Actually, to hear their side of the story, right? We're talking,
AKA what we're
doing wrong.
Yeah, we've been talking about ourselves for a long time, about how do you do these things for developers, right? But we never gave them a voice to come and talk to security people and say, listen, it's great what you're doing. We love you. There's nobody like you anywhere.
Yeah.
But, right?
But is always
stay away. Stay away.
Yeah. But go away and shut up.
No, I think it's good though. I think it's time for security people to close their mouths and open their ears and just listen to what how the decisions that we make and the things that we say, how those impact developers. So my hope is that you can get enough developers and security champions in the room so that we can hear. So we'll keep talking.
We are hoping that since it's San Francisco, it's going to be easy to get them.
Oh, nothing's easy.
But hopefully at least the security champions, we can get a good number in there.
If it was easy, everybody would do it. So, but yeah, so we'll talk about that some more as the year progresses here. That's September.
That's September, yeah.
Yeah, September 2024. All right, well, we got to wrap up for today, folks. Just a quick episode around the security table. We talked about the Muppets. We talked about security conferences in general, and hopefully left you with a few ideas for how we could maybe do things differently. We'll keep thinking about this, and we'll bring this back up at some point in the future. So thanks for listening to The Security Table.